Hey guys, welcome to my 100 subscribers celebration video. So I'm just actually going to take a moment to wait for people to join. I've never done this before, but I announced it and a lot of people got jumped on board with subscribing, and I really appreciate it. Now, I actually, of course, am dealing with a slight technical question at this moment. This is my first time using YouTube's new stream setup. I've always used their classic one, and I'm not seeing that it's streaming. So maybe if I go to the classic one, I'll see that it is, hopefully. Stream Now Classic. If you're watching this and you are... Haha, yes, it is streaming. Hopefully there weren't any issues with the link and getting in here. It doesn't look like anybody is watching at this point, at least not on my radar here. So hopefully this works and that the links I put out there work. You know, nobody being here, I suppose I'll just hop on Facebook and make sure I have the right link up. And of course it is, hey, it's 11 o'clock on a Tuesday evening, so not too surprising if there aren't too many people tuning in. Really can be hit or miss. I had one night where a bunch of kids got on at when I just hopped on for a few at midnight. That was a funny sort of thing. All right, here is the link that works. All right, let's see. Is anybody here? Yay, there's one person. All right, so part of these live streams that's cool is that people can watch the replays. So I'm just going to get started in what I was talking about. So welcome to my new YouTube channel, JCC Piano Studio. If this is your first time joining, I thought I would tell you guys a little bit about this channel and how it got started and what I'm doing. As many of you know, I'm a piano teacher. I'm a trained classical pianist and a composer, and I have been interested in kind of audio, video stuff for a few years now. I've done a few projects with it, and when COVID started, I started teaching all my piano lessons remotely, as everybody else did. And after a few weeks of that, I thought, well, hey, I've got this camera and all this equipment. Why don't I try using this stuff to do lessons? And so I had a sharp learning curve and spent a lot of time in here playing with things, watching tutorials, and learned to use this broadcasting software called OBS, Open Broadcasting Studio or software. It's one of those, I think. Figured out how to do multicam streaming, both for my piano lessons and for making YouTube videos. So I just started making some tutorials, making video tutorials for my students, and I thought, hey, this is really fun. So I've been experimenting for the last 2 months or so, and I'm pretty clear on what I want this channel to be. It's an educational channel and also a channel where I can perform. And there are a few different things I'm doing here. One is tutorial videos. So tutorial videos for students of all levels, technique, theory principles for advanced students, and then video tutorials with practice guides for beginners and intermediate students. And there will be various special topics that I'll make videos on along the way. Another thing I'm doing is live practice sessions. So that's when I actually live stream myself practicing. It's not too often that you get to see an advanced professional musician just sitting practicing their instrument in their own space. And what I have done with that so far is actually verbalize and talk about what's happening while I'm practicing, what I'm thinking about, how I'm feeling, etc., and what kinds of principles I'm applying. And I've decided to not be afraid to live stream things that I'm struggling with. Sometimes people think that certain musicians at a certain level, that you just get it at a certain point, and playing your instruments like riding a bike or something. And it's not the case at all. Musicians become very fluent, but there's always things that can be worked on and practiced. So the same principles of good practice, many of the same principles of good practice apply at all levels, including for myself. I have done a number of improvised live streams, so I'll get on and just improvise for a while, maybe say a few words, maybe not. And trying to think if there's anything else I'm thinking of. I think that's about it at this point. If I remember, I'll say something else. And I thought I would bring a little bit of all of those things into tonight. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my day and how I'm feeling right now, and how I'm feeling in approaching the instrument, how much I've practiced today. Spoiler alert, 0. And how I'm going to think about playing. So a little bit of mentality stuff, kind of like the practice videos. Then I'm going to play for a bit, improvising, but also bringing an approach that is a bit like a warming up into something. And sometimes I warm up with scales, other times I warm up with just improvising and getting in touch with my body and my mind, heart, spirit that way. And then I'll just play for a while. And after that, I'm going to give you all some ideas about what you can do if you want to play the piano and you've never done it before. There's a lot of access points into the piano that make it accessible to sit down at the instrument and not only play a few keys, whatever, like we all loved to do when we were little kids, and not afraid to just bonk around the piano a little bit, which I encourage too, definitely, for all ages. But how can you sit down at the piano and make something that sounds like music without knowing very much? It's a great starting point. So with that, I'm going to get into playing a little bit. So I have not practiced at all today. I've taught a lot of lessons and did some errands. And I'm feeling pretty good. I'm a little bit tired, but still pretty energized. And in approaching the piano, warming up with improvisation, I want to feel the weight of my arms, kind of transferring weight into the keys, taking advantage of gravity rather than forcing my muscles to do things at the instrument with tension and use. I want to just kind of ease into the piano to warm up. And then I'm going to let it kind of flow from there. So this isn't highly intellectual playing or goal-oriented playing. It's more of a feeling type of playing. So I'm going to start now and play for about somewhere in the range of 5 to 10 minutes. Hope you guys enjoy. love improvising at the piano. It's really a great case for studying music theory. When you study theory from whatever angle, it doesn't have to be too analytical or strict, but just learning little bits and pieces of it give you tools that you can play with, or it's like, it can feel like having a new playground to play on when you've learned something new about how these things work together. These things being these keys, how do they work together to make the combinations of sounds that we love, that we've heard, or maybe sounds that we can discover that we haven't heard before or don't realize we've heard. So I want to talk about that a bit. How do you explore the piano? How do you uncover patterns and things that you can then make music with? I'm going to show you a couple tricks. So if you like plunking around at the piano and nobody's watching, or when they are, I definitely encourage you to get your hands on a piano and just play notes. Just play notes. That's step one. Step number two is really listen. Just listen. It's not a pretentious act. It is a I suppose it's a mindful act, but maybe even better yet, we can just call it an attentive act. You pay attention. So you put something into the piano, a note, any note or combination of notes, and then you receive. So you give and you receive. You give and you receive. That's an ongoing process, always, always, always with the piano. And to listen and cultivate real attentive listening allows you to truly open up to receiving the gift of playing the piano. Whether you know thousands of things or just that when you push the key down you get sound. Everybody can participate in this, and I invite you to do so regardless of what level you're at. This could be a great lesson for an advanced musician and beginner alike. So you play a combination of notes and you just listen to what the sound is. Does it spark a feeling? Does it remind you of something? Does it feel good? Does it feel bad? Oh, that's a sound that a lot of people, when you first hear it, you get this visceral reaction. Notice that. That's the stuff. That's the stuff, the listening and the feeling you get from it. And as you do that, you might find a combination of notes that you can play that you like the sound of. You can also play with the pedals. There's 3. What do they do? Put them down, push them down to the floor, find out what they do, listen. And it's fun. It's a fun thing to do. So that's the first thing. An openness to giving and receiving without judgment, just attention. And after that, if you find a pattern that you like or that does something for you that you'd like to replicate, do it a few times and remember what those notes are. See if you can remember them next time you sit down at the piano. Maybe you can't. No big deal. Play around some more. Find something new. I've seen so many people sit down at a piano and say, I had something awesome yesterday, and they get caught on that. They get attached to being able to find what was awesome yesterday. Well, maybe what was awesome yesterday isn't actually going to sound that great today. I mean, maybe it will, but get into what's now and maybe explore some more, and it'll come back to you, or you'll find something else. And it's just a mentality to approaching the instrument that I haven't heard rarely, or I've heard rarely, if ever, in the piano pedagogy world. And I think that's because it lacks stricture. It relies on individual experience that's somewhat unpredictable and chaotic rather than methodical and systematic and institutionalized. Well, guess what? All the great composers were really struggled with institutionalization of music and with the system, and people who create new things do that because they're able to tap into that source of new ideas from within. It helps if you know some things, or can help, but while you start learning some things, you could get into the habit of kind of getting into and trusting your own experience of things and your own ability to recognize, map, and replicate patterns, and then generate new combinations of patterns at the piano. Oh, that was a long-winded explanation. So I'm going to leave it at that and just give you a couple starting points. So one thing a lot of people say, this is something I've heard tons of people say, and it's great, is just play with the black keys. You've got 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. When you play the same note within a group of 2 or 3, that's the same type of note on the piano, the same note name, just higher up here and lower down here. And the combination of black keys just always sound great together. I'm pushing the pedal down on the right side of the piano for this. Now, you might see some of the things that I do and think, gosh, Jonathan really knows how to play the piano. And yeah, I built up a lot of classical techniques, so there is that. But however it is that you touch and feel the keys, just do it, play notes, and listen. And using the pedal makes this sound really nice too. So I think that's actually just the one thing I'm going to leave you with in terms of specific things. Exploring openly, seeing if some of your own patterns of things you like the sound of appear, and see if you can play with those more. And in the meantime, just enjoy listening to the sound of the piano, and then maybe try out doing some black key improv. So yes, thank you guys for tuning in to the live session, watching the replay if you're doing that. I posted a thing on Facebook 2 days ago asking people to subscribe to my channel so that I could get up to 100 subscribers and get a custom URL, and it took less than 48 hours. It was really amazing, and felt really good to me to have you guys show up that way. So I really appreciate your support. Welcome to the channel. Stay tuned. If you go to the channel page, I know everybody says this on YouTube, but it always seems like it's a thing that you have to remind people to do. There's this weird little bell graphic next to the subscribe button, and if you don't push that, then you'll be subscribed, but YouTube won't tell you when new videos are uploaded. If you just go into the channel and click the that bell next to it, then you'll get a notification of the new videos when you come into YouTube. So anyways, thank you guys so much for showing up. Next big landmark will be, gosh, I mean, 100 is really cool. I've never had a YouTube channel that got up to 100 subscribers. And that's awesome. I guess I'll decide what the next landmark should be. Probably, I suppose something like 300 or 500. Yeah, I'll do 300, 500, and then we're gonna go for 1,000. So tell your friends, send them the link, and tell them something that you like that you saw here. And yeah, send it to people who you think might enjoy some of what I'm doing here. And drop me a line in the comments. And yeah, that's about it for this live stream. So you guys have a great night, sleep well, and see you in the next video or stream. Take care.